Hello everyone, my name is Rocío and I am going to present the working title, Learned Foraging Preferences After Experiencing Adulterated Pollen in Honeybee Colonies. Pollen is the main protein resource for api's mellifera colonies, but could strongly differ in composition among plant species. Furthermore, pollen might contain deterrent compounds inducing distasteful and/or malaise experiences in bees. Worker bees of different ages use pollen in various ways. Young bees start eating pollen soon after emergence up to 2 weeks of age. In particular, young workers of 3 to 10 days of age performed as nurse bees, using pollen to feed the larvae and the rest of the colony. We have recently shown that these young nurse bees are able to select pollen for consumption according to its quality. On the other hand, foragers who collect pollen from flowers and transport it to the nest do not ingest fresh pollen during foraging. Although honeybee colonies avoid collecting some low-quality pollens, foragers themselves could not assess pollen composition at floral sources. We hypothesize that foraging preferences are adjusted after experiencing pollens that are processed by young nurse bees inside the nest. To unveil the mechanisms that enable foragers to select pollen, we performed 3 experiments with colonies confined in flying cages. We used 6 colonies for each experiment, and their foragers were trying to visit a foraging station that offered 2 monofloral pollens, A and B. In dual choice tests, we compared foraging preferences for pollen A and B after pollen A was adulterated with the deterrent amygdalin to reduce its quality. All experiments had 3 phases, but in the treatment phase, pollen A was offered to the bees in different ways. In experiment 1, we poured the adulterated pollen as a paste into the hive. In experiment 2, we offered the adulterated pollen to the foragers at the station, who carried it to the nest. In experiment 3, we isolated the young nurse bees of the colony and fed the adulterated pollen for 2 days before returning them into the hive. Later, we tested learned preferences by offering pollen A and B unadulterated. To confirm that foragers were not able to avoid the amygdalin adulterated pollen at the source, we tested preferences for pollens A and B when pollen A was adulterated or unadulterated, and we found that preferences were irrespective of the deterrent addition. On the contrary, as you can see in experiment 1 and 2, foragers significantly reduced their preferences for the pollen A after it had been experienced as adulterated inside the hive, either incorporated by us or by foragers. Finally, experienced young bees could not modify responses of inexperienced foragers. Altogether, results indicate that foragers do not respond to the addition of amygdalin deterrent at the pollen source. The adjustment of foraging preference requires pollens to be experienced inside a nest, and experienced young bees alone without pollen information inside the nest could not bias foraging preferences. Thank you for your attention.